Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mike's Garage. I want to talk a little bit about the Javelin Missile. You hear a lot about that. But before I get to that, I want to say my heart goes out to all the soldiers, the freedom fighters that are involved in this conflict. I really hope it doesn't escalate. You always like to see the good guys win, which we assume it's Ukrainians. So my heart goes out to them. If you've never been in a combat situation, your heart pounding, your palms sweaty, you're just a nervous wreck in a killer be killed situation, it's horrible. So my heart goes out to those guys, and you're in our thoughts and prayers. Okay, let's do what we need to do. Okay, enough said about that. The Javelin missile, you're hearing a lot about those being deployed over there. Javelin missiles actually been around since the 1990s. Okay, over the time they keep improving them, they keep making them better. But right from the beginning, they were a pretty effective weapon. It's an American-made weapon. It's being on TV about as an anti-tank weapon. It's actually much more than that. Okay, let's start. The weapon weighs about 27 pounds, 28 pounds, and then you have to put the tracking system attached to the launch tube. So you carry the launch tubes separately, and you have the tracking system that attaches to it. Takes less than a minute to attach the tracking system to the tube that contains the missile. Takes about 30 seconds for the tracking system to come online. And then if you've practiced at it and you're good at it, it does take around 20 seconds for you to lock onto the target. Now, there's a lot more to explain about locking onto a target, okay? But so basically what you're doing is if you spot a target you want to take out. Now you have to get the launch tube, you have to get the sights, and you have to attach it, the launching mechanism. And you have to boot it up. Now you're hidden the whole time this is taking place. Now, after you have it all ready to fire, the tracking system's all fired up, it's ready to go, you really do have to take your time, and this is where the danger part comes in. You do have to expose yourself to enemy fire because they're all looking for movement somewhere. And you do have to expose yourself for about 20 seconds. You have to take your time, lock onto the target. Now, this is an infrared target tracking system. Once you lock onto the target and fire the missile, you can run, you can hide, you can get out of the way. The missile will go to the target that you programmed it into, okay? Now, the missile itself, when you're targeting, so you have your sights, you're looking through your sights, you can target a vehicle, you can target a building, you can target a tank. Okay, now you have to choose how you want the missile to go. Now the missile can be designated as a straight fire. Now straight fire, you're going to fire into a bunker, you're going to fire it into a building, you're going to fire it into some kind of a fortified armament where you're trying to get in there and destroy the bad guys, okay? If you're after an armored vehicle or a tank, you can program it to come down on the target from an angle above. Now, that's truly effective in the armored vehicles and the tanks because most of the armored vehicles have the heavy protection and the anti-missile protection around the outside of the tank. The top is usually the thinnest amount of armor and can be penetrated easily. So it depends on the target. Now, you have to make all those decisions before you fire the weapon, okay? So you have to bring it up, and you can pick a sight, you can pick infrared, and there's a zoom that goes in on it. If you want to fly it straight and you want to fly it into a building, an opening, a cave, a bunker, you want to hit the target directly, you have to choose all those three things. Then you have to choose if you're going to drop it straight in or you're going to make it go up and come down on an angle. So you have to make all those decisions while you're exposed to enemy fire. So those are the things you need to do. Now, the missile travels about 500 miles an hour. So you don't have a lot of time before you launch it and it's going to hit the target. A couple of things when you're firing it. It can be fired by one person. they do recommend you to have two people. You have a buddy who's a spotter. He's helping you pick out the targets. He's helping you load things. He's helping you with personal protection. He's suppressing fire if he has to. So all those things are taking place around you, and you're trying to concentrate on picking out the target, selecting the method of the firing going to go, and how you're going to track the target. Okay, you can even go, there's even a tracking mode that if the vehicle is moving, you can put it in tracking mode and follow the vehicle. You have to lock onto it. I know there's a lot of pressure. I know you don't want to get shot, okay? So you have to pick the target. You have to take your time and lock onto the target and launch it, and then you can run away. You can go hide, you can get out of there. And that's probably the best thing to do, because once they see that smoke trail from where the rocket came from, you're going to catch hell coming in, all right? So that's pretty much the rule. The rocket is designed with a small charge, and that blows the rocket out of the launcher. So you do get some blowback. You can't stand behind the launcher. You're going to get all that shrapnel in you. You stand next to the guy that's firing that. And the guy that's firing that actually has a shield for his hand and his face. Should be wearing some kind of face protection or behind the shield, because when you fire it, it blows out maybe 10 meters out in front of you, and then the rocket engine kicks in, and that blows back more debris back in your face. So all that happens in a split second. So those are the things you have to be aware of when you fire that. Like I say, you can carry it with you. It's a 1 or 2 man operation. It's very effective against armored vehicles, tanks, any kind of anti-personnel. Not like the Stinger missile is strictly, you can do it air to air, you can do it ground to air, different things with the Stinger, but the Javelin missile has many more purposes, many more ways to aim it, many more ways to lock onto a target, many more ways to fire it, and it is devastating. I mean, it's a tremendous weapon. The other weapon they're using over there is, I think it's a Swedish-made or Australian-made. It's called the MLAW, and that's a little bit of a different setup there. It will, if you lock onto the target, what it will do is the rocket goes in and it will explode above the target with a downward force. So it doesn't have the option to go up and come down on the target. It flies over the target, and when it gets over the target that you locked in, it blows the charge down. So it will blow through the top of a tank. It will blow down on top of the enemy, down on top of the troop carrier, the armored personnel carrier, any kind of vehicle, truck, fuel truck, anything you're trying to destroy. You don't have to hit it, because it really doesn't hit the target. It doesn't explode on impact. It explodes when it gets to the target area that you designated when you fired it. So it's a little different, depends which weapon you're using. They're very effective weapons. You can see the Ukrainians are using them effectively. Like I say, if you take your time with it, it's a deadly weapon. You have to know what you're doing with it. You have to take the time to have it boot up, pick your target, select the method of discharge, and follow through on it. And you do get the chance to move your position immediately, because you don't have to stay there and keep your sights on the target until the missile gets there. So I hope that was interesting. Like I say, my heart goes out to the soldiers. It's always a tough deal. Any Americans that are over there in any kind of capacity. I know a couple of journalists have been shot, and some American was killed. I don't know what position they were in over there. But I just hope this ends soon. I don't want it to escalate and get out of control. Okay, everybody, thanks for watching Mike's Garage. See you later. And my thoughts are with those guys over there. Thanks, everybody.